2:49 for a Hawthorn favourite. Jack Gadsden gives them that goal to get them on the board. McKenzie realises that there was room and time to balance and score a major.
Sicily's ball, it's looking for more, had to clear Berry, it had to be accurate, and it was. Gave it off to Nash, who has a bounce. Trying to pick him up was Dunkley. Nash's kick towards Shoal! Right hand, left hand, got it.
Jack Gadsden with so much riding on the kick. A pure result. They have been impeccable in front of the sticks.
It looked dicey for a little while, but the Hawks weren't to be denied. A 25-point win, making it 5 straight against the Lions. There's a nice buzz about the brown and gold, with recent form giving fans every reason to be optimistic. And that includes us, right here on the Hawk Talk podcast. Thank you for joining us. My name is Nick Mason, and 'tis some hot competition for MVP honours this week.
But it's all about the team, isn't it? That was a staggeringly professional performance after the week before.
It was pretty even.
Didn't seem to be any nerves, even though Brisbane came at them in that third quarter.
Did you have nerves?
No.
Wow, okay. So you thought, you were convinced
I thought
that we responded.
I thought at the start of the day we were a good thing.
Okay, all right.
And I'm getting a bit of confidence about this group. Don't know what's wrong with me. Because I never bring it to the podcast. Every time I get to the end of the podcast, I'm like, oh no, we probably won't win this week.
Well, I mean, we've had a few years lead up to this point, haven't we? I mean, we've had some false dawns on this.
But look, Sicily was at his, he was just biting off more than he could chew and chewing it straight through this week. It was beautiful couple of kicks, especially that pass to Deer. And then the pass into the centre. Did they go to Moore and then off to Nash?
You know damn well who it went to.
Oh, no, I ended up with Nash. But
ended up with Nash.
Where I was sitting, I didn't know who.
I think it went to Moore, Nash, and then I think it was Chol, wasn't it?
Chol, Butte Mark.
Yeah.
Just controlled it and then brought it down.
Yeah, that was the chief highlight of the day. That roar, the electricity in the crowd in that moment was epic.
It was great. And also that goal by Deer.
Yes.
And
the most unlikely curl.
Yeah, but I've got to say, the headline for me was Jack Gunston and his role on Harris Andrews. Very Billy Frampton-ish. But in this case... Jack kicked 4 goals, 1.
The decoy delivers 4 goals, 1. That's not bad. It's a good plan.
No, I'm only trying to reference the grand final because he might have been useful that day. I don't know.
He might have been.
He's definitely rubbing their nose in it a bit.
Well, you are right now.
Well, glad to.
If there are any Brisbane listeners, I don't think we have any.
But yeah, to do that against your old mob, fantastic. 8 scoring involvements too.
Yeah, from 11 touches. So basically, almost every time he got the footy, it meant a great deal to the side.
Yeah. And they were more or less one leading forward short, Brisbane, weren't they?
Well, you did denounce Eric Hipwood being out of the side. I asked what you thought of him. You said, what do I think of him? You did some comment like that.
Yeah, because he absolutely trashed Brand that day. I went up there.
Yeah, look, I don't think Eric Hipwood is going to set the world on fire at any stage, but he's important to their structure.
He is important to their structure.
It is always fun seeing Danaher just stink it up, isn't it?
And Cam Rayner.
Yes, absolutely. I'll tell you a story about Danaher, actually, because I ended up sitting next to a Brisbane supporter. I was with my dad, and I was sat next to a Brisbane supporter who was quite nice and was a bit chatty at the end. Even when the game was gone, she was still a bit upbeat and chatty, and I thought that was quite nice. And she goes, yeah, see, I was an Essendon supporter, and then I married, and my husband's a Brisbane supporter, and so I changed. I said, well, for what it's worth, I'm a Hawthorn fan, obviously, and I'd say that's a massive upgrade. And she laughed at that, but then went, yeah, but the problem is I haven't really been able to escape Danaher.
Oh,
brilliant.
He's very frustrating. He kicked a goal at the end of the game. Anyway,
Let's
he's not
talk
our
about-
problem.
yeah.
It's so good for him not to be our problem.
Absolutely.
I really enjoy that.
Let's talk about us.
Let's talk about how good Carl Amon's first quarter was.
What did he do in the first quarter? Because I thought overall he had an outstanding game, but something about his first you liked.
Well, he got a third of his touches. 29 for the day, 10 in the first quarter, 633 metres gained, and really set up the day. 18 uncontested. Just went around doing what he likes.
Well, did you notice that's when we were playing our best footy?
Yeah.
In that third quarter, Brisbane really evened up the uncontested possessions, and that's when they started getting on top. The way Amon used the footy as well, 89.7% disposal efficiency. I mean, on his day, Carl Amon is absolutely lethal.
And in that third quarter, when we were under a lot of pressure, Massimo was massive, wasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the composure is great. And the strength in spite of his frame. He's not the most well-built player out there, but he's capable of breaking some tackles and finding space and choosing good options as well.
He's just doing some beautiful finesse work around the boundary as well.
Yes.
Getting out of the traps and keeping the ball moving forward. And
That's what I noticed as well. I really liked that hallmark of his game. 27 touches in the end, 3 marks, 4 tackles, 7 score involvements, 588 metres gained, including 4 inside 50s.
And then you've got Will Day, who's still, what did he do this time? 82% game time.
Okay, so he's building.
But him and Lockie Neal, that was a good battle. Mm-hmm. Not that it was head-to-head or anything, it wasn't really face-to-face or...
No.
But they were the guys that were controlling that midfield.
Well, I mean, Will Day, I think the difference is Will Day didn't have to be our saviour, where I think I would say that was true of Neil for the Lions.
He seemed to get a couple of free kicks that weren't really there too. But,
But Will Day?
no, bloody
Neil, yeah.
Neil.
I was going to say, if you're talking about the 50-metre penalty, which was absolutely there, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
That's one of the more cut and dry ones I've seen in ages. Anyway, Will Day with 26 touches, a team-high 9 score involvements, and a goal.
Now, are you going to talk about Warps?
I think we have to. Yeah, I mean, he started the season so strongly, and we thought we witnessed a little bit of a dip in the last few weeks, but I mean, he's come back. He's back in a big way as James Worpel.
28 disposals, 9 clearances, 8 inside 50s.
So we spoke about Massimo with the 4 inside 50s, or actually a cluster of Hawks that had 4 inside 50s. But yeah, Worpel doubled the field with 8.
2 direct goal assists for Warple too, including that beautiful pass out of the centre.
Oh, yes.
Which also got the crowd up and about, let me tell you.
He did a couple of those through the corridor, didn't he? Yeah. Quite good from Warple.
Really breaking through their defence in that midfield. It's lovely to see. Everything was going really, really well, and then Brisbane are a good side. They started to grind. They started to try and keep the ball away from us.
Yeah.
We kept getting it into Harris Andrews' hands for some reason, and then Gunston was getting frustrated, just tackling him before the ball got there anyway, just trying to hold up the return pass. But what do you think Sammy said to them at three-quarter time? Because it wasn't great. All the momentum was with Brisbane. A couple of their forwards were looking very dangerous, and then Charlie Cameron... What did he kick in the end? Because he could add a lot more than he finished up with.
Did it make you feel like you wanted to switch Dimmer onto him? Because I messaged you throughout the game.
1 goal, 3.
Yeah. So, I mean, he could have had a big day. I wanted Hardwick to go to him. I thought, enough of this nonsense. We know that Dimmer is the guy for the job. He delivers when he plays on Cameron. Let's stop being too cute about this and just get that matchup right.
Well, Hardwick didn't have a touch in that last quarter, and he only had 8 for the day, and he looked... I didn't see him all that much, to be honest.
No, absolutely a different Hardwick game compared to the week before. But, what's the narrative here? Well, as far as the media is concerned, is that Hawthorn learnt their lesson. Whatever Sammy said to them at three-quarter time, it would be very easy to imagine, okay...
Did you get the feeling, because last week I was saying we had to have 1 down quarter against Port.
Yeah.
We just didn't do it. And then we got to the last quarter and that had to be it. I feel like the third quarter... They were playing a bit of, all right, come at us.
Oh, it's a bit of a rope-a-dope.
Yeah, all
Not
right.
bad.
Well, you're gonna have to see that they're gonna come. Yeah. So you just prepare for them to come at you. Drop a couple back.
I mean, it's intriguing about Hawthorn because this isn't exactly a new trend. It's the next bit. It's the bouncing back that we're starting to try and perfect. Usually, if we get overrun in even just 1 quarter, that's the game.
Yeah,
that's what we've seen this year. But very pleasing to not drop our bundle against Brisbane.
But I feel that's what made it professional from my eyes.
Yeah,
that they knew that Brisbane were going to come and they waited for it, and then they struck back.
It's a huge gambit. Maybe you're right. I think it's more the case that we're at three-quarter time, and Sammy's saying, look. We have to have learned from last week. We can't do the same thing. We can't go into our shells. And we had some brilliant attacking play against Brisbane in that final term. And there was all this evidence to suggest that Hawthorn are not trying to play the same way as they did against Port Adelaide. When it mattered most, I mean.
Yeah. There was no panic.
No.
I didn't notice any panic on the day. And we've got to point out that Jack Ginnivan, 23 touches, career high.
I believe it is a career best, yeah. And 7 score involvements, including a goal for himself and a goal assist. And a free kick, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
That's how he got his goal, of course.
Yeah, but he's made headlines for all the right reasons.
Oh, yeah, today, triggering Pies fans.
What did he actually say? Do you know?
No.
Because what I read was fairly innocuous. He just said it's quite hard to play in the forward line at Collingwood. It's much more enjoyable at Hawthorn.
Well, I think he was trying to describe how Collingwood is very structured and very a strict adherence to a system. You play on this side of the ground and that is where you stay. Where with Hawthorn, we already know. Like, it's clear to the naked eye that Ginnivan roams.
Yep.
And he gets as high up as half back. That's where he can get some of his touches.
Yeah.
And I don't know, he just enjoys playing with a bit more flexibility. And that seems to have triggered a lot of Collingwood fans today, saying, yeah, it's a lot more fun to play for Hawthorn. And Pies fans are like, yeah, well, we don't like you anyway. People should boo you.
I've lost all respect for last year's premiership player.
Yeah.
I'm just like, whatever. Anyway, Mabior with that mark, he has given them confidence in kicking long into that forward line, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
It allows you to have blokes like Ginnivan, and this week we'll probably see Little... Am I allowed to say Little?
Well, he is short in stature, yeah. The wonderful wizard.
The Wiz, yeah, he'll be back.
Yeah, you'd think so. Now, Mabior, what you're talking about there, I mean, it was in place, I think, with Mitch Lewis, but he's just not on the side anymore. And so Mabior has gone, well, I have to...
If it is to be, it is up to me.
Exactly. I have to restore that confidence that goes walking out of the side with Mitch Lewis being injured all the time. So, and I mean,
what a whack!
He is.
You can't just put that in a phrase. Anyway.
No, Lewis is not in this. If he was,
yeah.
they would kick to him and save his houses. They know, you know that Mitch Lewis is a strong contested force.
He must be champing at the bit now.
Oh, yeah, terribly so. I would say the same as what CJ went through. Just itching to get out there and play footy again.
Didn't he look good?
He did. Yep, did indeed.
Oh, it's so good to have him back. And to see that he's actually not hampered. Because I felt he'd have to be. He'd have to have some confidence issues and stuff, but no.
No, and they've played it pretty well, Hawthorn. They meted it out, and they got him back into the side in a very methodical way that was comfortable for him.
And do you think it's all down to Deer, the last 4 wins out of 6? Because it's a little bit...
I thought you'd say.
It's a little bit weird, isn't it? Like,
I think
is it talismanic? Is it emotional? What is this?
You've led with the right consonant. You led with a D, and I think that would be day is probably more...
You reckon it's day?
More than Deer, yeah. And it's not to undersell Deer. I'm really enjoying watching him, but it's got to be Will Day,
You've
right?
led with the right consonant.
What, a bit too cerebral for you, is it? What's wrong with that?
I don't know. It's just there's something about the squad that's it's an emotional.
It feels like they're close. Don't you reckon? Do you get that vibe? They're a very close.
Well, we were told team. Years ago that they were close knit side.
Yeah,
and then they've turned over about 16 of those guys. But no, they seem to be getting along, and even Connor McDonald has got more personality than anything. And
now, what was that celebration? Because I think I learned that it might be in reference to an Indigenous thing, but at the time I thought, he's giving it the old Meek Monday.
Meek Monday. But he came up and he kicked a very decisive goal.
He did, and I'm glad that he did because, as I tweeted,
I know
he is very frequently the opposite of clutch.
Don't we have a delete button on Twitter anymore?
No, I'm not a coward. I own it. I said it, and then he kicked that really good final term goal, and so be it.
Is it on the run that Connor?
I don't know what it is. I don't know. Connor at his best is excellent and very fun to watch, and then he has moments where it's like, he really needed to slot that.
Yeah.
He's just one of those players.
But the celebrations were magnificent.
Yeah, well, none better than CJ and Guinea.
Yeah.
Got to admit. I mean, the fact that they practiced that in pre-season and the first time they get to play... Well, no, it wasn't the first time. They played the week before.
Yeah.
But at the first opportunity that Giddy kicks a goal, he goes immediately over to CJ. I thought it was brilliant.
And did you see how big the celebration from Bruce was after he kicked that goal to seal the match?
Yeah, he loved it.
Yeah, that was big.
Super sub. Actually, speaking of CJ, did you stick around after the match to see them off the ground? I mean, sometimes
I was just walking around the boundary.
Fair enough.
And
Sometimes
everyone
I do.
ran out, and I thought, why do I never bring a footy to these things?
Exactly. Sometimes I stick around, sometimes I don't. Well, CJ was walking to the cheer squad end. From about 70 metres out, he's got the arms up like, come on, yes,
Really?
come on. And the crowd loved it. I mean, you think about how much it means to him after all that time.
Yeah.
I thought it was a great moment.
I'm impressed. After I finished watching that game and they had that self-belief after what had happened the week before, because they would have got jitters, I thought Sam has done remarkably well to get the team ethic into this squad at such a young age.
Yeah.
And if they bring this to training, that's more important generally.
Yeah.
But they've got some very good standards now.
There's a lot to be said for standards and culture and how that plays out on the field on game day. I think we are definitely seeing that.
And we can see some consistency coming through as well.
Well, you can't underestimate the impact of, what did we go? 0 and 5.
Yeah.
And I think we understand why that happened, is that we're not in the same class as some of those teams.
But you also start to doubt the
Well, that's what I
game
mean.
plan and try
Yeah.
things that
Yeah,
might work because the others haven't.
it's on the shoulders of the playing group, but also the coaches to get them to rally and go, hey, 0 and 5 is obviously not the start we wanted. In fact, we're in a big hole now, but stay the course. We can do this. Let's turn it around. And so they've started doing that. Now, I think we're 4 and 7, aren't we? That sounds about right.
Yep.
And with some winnable games ahead.
What did you think of Frosty on Danaher?
They froze him out, didn't he?
Did you see the mismatch?
Did you notice the re-emergence of some frost ball this match?
Not really.
Oh, I think it was definitely back in vogue.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, more than any other game I've seen this year.
Really?
I actually said to my dad, it's back! Here we go! But he didn't turn it over!
No,
So-
that is frostball. That's the
No, frost ball is the endeavour. It's not the mistake.
Oh.
Okay,
I thought
well,
it was
maybe-
just frost. I thought that was the punctuation.
Maybe we've thought about it differently to one another. No, I see frost ball as the
Aggression in the ball.
the
movement.
hot-headed
Okay.
endeavour just
Yeah.
to run
Fair
through the
enough.
lines and
Yeah.
let's see what happens here. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah,
Lately, it's been working pretty well.
it has. Weddle, I talked about him last week being a bit down.
Yeah, it was quiet this game.
Yeah, but
didn't
there are
really
a couple of
notice him.
moments where he took it upon himself to try and influence the game, and I enjoyed that.
Mm-hmm.
But there's something a little bit off with Weddle. Meek was good again, even though Oscar McInerney was enormous.
Yeah, he was one of their best. But that's not to overshadow Meek. I mean, it's similar to how people read the St Kilda game. Well, Marshall was fantastic, and then all the Hawthorn supporters are saying, yeah, but what about Meek? He was huge for us. Pun intended, of course.
Good to see Zorko struggle.
Dorco, you mean?
That was Dipper.
Was it?
Yeah,
Oh, fantastic.
he called him Zane Dorko.
Oh, I love that. What do you think of the Scrim Reaper?
He had 2 touches in the first half, and he didn't get put on blast. So I don't know what
Yeah.
Sammy's doing.
Well, Scrim Reaper almost killed me with that kick in, I think it was the third quarter, or maybe the second, where he turned it over directly to Brisbane.
Yeah.
But other than that, unfortunately for Scrimmer, I did not notice him. he did a couple of nice things, but not,
There was
not a huge
I think
game.
there was a big relieving mark at one point from Scrim.
Yes, there was.
Yeah.
Yeah, another one you're talking about.
Yeah.
Can we circle back around to Marby Chol? Because the stats are staring me in the face. 3 goals, 6 tackles, 16 pressure acts, 4 score involvements and 4 marks. I know we're all over the map here.
16 pressure acts.
16 pressure acts. Yep.
I didn't realise that. That's pretty damn big. He was robbed of opportunities in that third quarter too. But he also got 6 tackles.
Yeah, well, but between him and Deere, Deere didn't apply quite as much pressure as last game, but, it's nice to know that our big men can turn up the heat on the opposition. I mean, that's exactly what we need.
Well, I mean, if you're talking about pressure, I mean, Dylan Moore was just unbelievable the whole day.
Yeah, I think he had the most tackles inside 50, didn't he? I think, inside forward 50, which is, again, what we need. We need to lock the ball in there. So overall, mate, a really pleasing win. I mean, we've sounded off on this for, about 20 minutes, and I could talk about this game all day.
It was just enjoyable. I hesitate to say it due to the current scuttlebutt about Marvel, but it was quite enjoyable.
I know what you mean. I found myself going, I could grow to like this place after 20 years, 25 years almost.
But no, I totally repressed that.
Yeah.
And I was reminded of it when I left.
What do you think of all the scuttlebutt, as you put it? The idea that we could be playing more and we could...
The idea that we get turfed out of our
tenancy at the G might be under threat.
By bloody Essendon and Carlton.
And I think St Kilda want more games at the G as well.
Oh, well, ignore that because they never get what they want. But it doesn't... St Kilda are deplorable at the moment.
Yeah, they are. They're one of the worst sides in the comp.
It's like they've read that meme from a month ago where we were just going to wrap up North and St Kilda and still have a team in Tassie and just amalgamate them and just...
Yeah. The St Kilda Kangaroos.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if Cairns are into us, maybe they just take St Kilda and...
Okay, that's the other thing. So it's no to moving from the G, and it's a hard no from me
on Cairns.
Cairns, absolutely. I've got no interest.
Ever
in
been
there? I've not, and I've never felt the pull to go there, and I don't think even Hawthorn could take me there.
What?
I just don't want to go to Cairns.
It's beautiful. It's so hot and humid.
Yeah, precisely it. That's why I don't want to go.
Like you can't touch your glass without it being wet. You'd love it.
No, that sounds like a nightmare. And look.
Perfect for football.
If and when the Tassie deal ends, I just want more games in Melbourne. That's always been my line. It's a very selfish line, I admit, but I just want to see more Hawthorn on my terms. And that is in Melbourne.
Yeah.
At the G. Can I be more specific? On a Saturday afternoon. Or how about a night game? That'd be nice. It's not happening this year, but...
Well, I mean, this week we got the Saturday afternoon game. Very much looking forward to playing Adelaide without Rankin.
Oh, right. Of course, the hamstring, yes.
But they absolutely destroyed West Coast. 99 points.
Yeah.
Should have been 100, but for a Harley Reid goal, God, he's the difference, isn't he?
He's good fun to watch.
But
I can't be annoyed at the hype because it seems justified. He is a very entertaining young player.
Okay.
What, you think the hype is excessive, or...?
I don't know. It's... I really want to see him live. Like, I've seen him do everything, and it's really exciting. But I'm looking at that, 28th July, Perth.
Yes.
I'm thinking, could be fun.
Okay, off you go. I don't think I can join you for that one.
Not a caravan of courage?
Oh, boy. Patreon.com.
Drive all that bloody way.
Fuel expenses there might be an issue.
No, I'll wait a year. I've already done my trip this year, but we've still got a Canberra game, don't we?
Against GWS, yeah. I guess we do. We play them in Tassie first, I think. Is that the order of things?
But I can definitely hear the long-suffering Queenslander, the hawker Queenslander, who's hardly seen Hawthorn have a win, let alone play in their state, going, Cairns ain't that bad.
I thought you were going to say, well, how about we play Brisbane on their home team, just to make it fair? And I say, bugger that. We have 5 straight over them because they play in Melbourne all the time. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So,
and Gold Coast take us to Darwin or wherever else.
That's the other thing. Why are we doing a deal in a location that we get annihilated in constantly? Yeah. No thanks. So you mentioned Adelaide having a good old time scoring heavily on West Coast. Now...
Did you see that match? Because
I saw bits and pieces. West Coast looked completely checked out at one point.
Right. Because I watched Adelaide the week before against Collingwood and thought quite good.
Yep.
Not fabulous. I thought Collingwood were well under par.
Yeah. But here's the thing. You looked at Brisbane beating Richmond and you went, "Ooh, Nick, they're carrying some good form in." And I said, they played Richmond.
Yeah.
Adelaide have played West Coast, who are so hot and cold. West Coast beat Melbourne the week before. I don't know what to think about that anymore.
But let me throw a fly in your ointment.
Yep.
No Meek.
It's an ankle injury of some kind, I believe it is.
Syndesmosis.
Yep.
Yeah.
At time of recording, he's a test, but Burgess said that he's less likely than likely. So I think we rule him
It's
out.
a lot of weight going through that ankle, mate.
Yeah, that's right.
So if he does any worse damage, you miss him for longer.
Yeah.
So who's going to ruck for us?
Oh, that's so mean. That's so mean.
It is a little. Reeves. There he is.
I thought in that moment you were actually going to say Ramsden. Which I want to see Ramsden in the side as well. But no, they will choose Reeves. They will choose the conservative option.
Yeah, so he gets his chance.
Yeah, here he is to try and turn the tide and win back that number one spot.
He's definitely got an opportunity against O'Reilly.
Absolutely.
He can get something done there.
So we're going to go through the injury list, the rest of it here. Jack O'Sullivan, hamstring is still a week away. Jai Sarong copped a head knock. He's out with concussion for a week. Will McCabe, 2 to 4 weeks away. Cooper Stevens, he was a test for his Achilles, and now it's become 4 to 5 weeks. So whatever test they were running needed to be run.
He just can't get back on
No.
into a rhythm.
Yeah, I mean, Cooper Stevens was given a lifeline at the end of last year.
Yeah.
It's very quickly becoming curtains for him. I don't know how he turns that around.
Yeah,
but
well, it's tough to be delisted at the best of times, but it's worse when you haven't even had the opportunity to prove yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Mitch Lewis still a TBC. Apparently, the club's feeling good about how he's tracking.
Oh, always into the feelings, Nick. You know me. Love the feelings.
Yep, that's about as much as we can say there. Annoyingly, James Blank obviously out for the season, as is Sam Butler. The player that we have available coming off the injury list, well, he was managed, is Nick Watson. So you would think maybe of the changes.
Like
from
for
Adelaide.
like, I saw that on the. I saw a few people going with that on Twitter.
Swing him into the ruck, Nick Watson for me. Brilliant. So the changes we'd make for Adelaide would be, you'd think Watson and Reeves, and that's about it. Who comes out of the side? Obviously, Meek is out for Reeves, but then does Bruce make way?
Gunston due a rest, is he?
Oh, for ahead of his 250th against his old club. Jeez.
It'll be a good day.
Yeah, I don't know. You'd have to be silly to let a player like Gunston go, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Twice. No, he turned back the clock. I got that lovely shot of him kicking that goal round the corner.
Yeah, you did.
Which wasn't well captured on the telly.
Yeah, but how do you manage this? Because I feel like every Marvel game this year, you've sent me vision either during the game or afterwards where you're riding the kick. You're like either right behind it or in front of it. I'm like, how does he always have the perfect position?
That's because I run around.
Oh, okay.
No. It's just where I sit.
Like he used to with Dunstall back in the day.
Yeah. So do you think that, with a tip of the hat to Kane Corns,
Yeah.
our current incredible method of winning the second ball is going to beat Adelaide?
I mean, yeah, we could. What confidence do you have in what Adelaide can produce? They're a spot above us on the ladder. That is it. It's 13th versus 14th. Mm-hmm. Very hot and cold Adelaide.
Been very close to them recently as well. So
I back us.
we've still got them twice.
Yeah. I have no reason to not back us at this stage. It's more confidence than I had previously. But our form line is good enough. 4 wins of the past 5? Why wouldn't I think that we could do this against a team that's around where we are?
I agree. It should be a decent game as well. Like both teams play in a good manner. Mm-hmm. So it should be, I'm hoping, high scoring if the weather holds out.
I think it could be as well. Neither team, as you point out, are very, they're not dour. They play an attacking, exciting brand of footy. And hopefully we can translate what we do at Marvel to the G. That'd be nice.
Yes, it is a bit odd. It is a bit odd that we're so good.
Is it because Marvel's easier to defend for a young side, or is that anything to do with it? But Marvel, the ground is punishing, so I don't know how it makes it easier.
Yeah. I don't know either. But I don't want to have more games there.
No, neither do I. I'm glad that we're winning
Just because the AFL bought the ground.
You see Eddie's comments about that today?
No.
This idea that Essendon, in particular, signed a deal in Marvel's inception way back when, so early 2000s, that basically sees them, if you buy merch for another team, Essendon get a cut. The example he gave was if you buy a Geelong Guernsey, Essendon gets a cut of that money.
What, because you bought it on that site.
Apparently, yeah, on the Marvel site, and didn't know that was a thing, but that doesn't feel good, mate. I'm moving place, so this will be a bit of a shorter podcast because this needs to be put out. So let's get to the social media stuff and wrap this thing up. If you enjoy what we do, we'd love for you to leave us a rating or a review, whether it's via Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Word of mouth really helps as well. So tell your Hawthorn mates about the Hawk Talk podcast. Get them on board. Get them listening. You can also come and join us on our social channels. Get on board X, Facebook and Instagram. It's always the best when the brown and gold fan base is buzzing after a good win. And this week, of course, was no exception. And finally, as always, we'd like to pay tribute to our proud, passionate and paid-up Patreon subscribers who fling us a bit of coin each month in support of the show. We've got some shout-outs here for our new subscribers. Thank you to Neil and thank you to friend of the show, Tony Wilson. Long-time listeners might remember Tony was a guest on arguably our most popular episode, Tiz.
The 89 grand final, wasn't it? He had the book out and we interviewed. Yeah.
1989, the great grand final. Definitely track down the episode and track down the book. It's a ripper. Thanks to Neil and Tony for being on board. And indeed, thanks to all our subscribers for supporting the show and keeping the lights on here at Hawk Talk Pod HQ. For everyone else, if you're interested in supporting the show and want to score a whole archive of extra Hawk Talk podcast stuff, head to our Patreon page, patreon.com/HawkTalkPod.
So there wasn't much to choose between our two sides, Brisbane and Hawthorn, but it was the efficiency forward or centre that was far better for us than them. Very, very similar number of shots, but our accuracy was great.
Boy, I'm so glad we've turned that around.
It's just confidence, isn't it? Because
I
our
think
confidence
it is.
in those first few weeks was just low as, and our opponents were just kicking everything. I don't know if you remember that, but it was just ridiculous. They were on the boundary and go straight through.
We couldn't kick anything, and they were kicking everything.
Yep.
It was shocking. I'm glad that we've put some more scoreboard pressure on through our accuracy.
And I just want to leave you with the image of Sammy Mitchell and that big smile from the bench.
Yeah,
in the
wouldn't you be
last
smiling
minute.
as well?
Yeah.
What's he thinking of there? Fireball Friday on SEN? Gets to wander on. And
He's
Kane gets to say he's a genius all over again.
It's just good to see him enjoying the job, isn't it? That's because it's a very difficult job.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
You know, he's not even on a winning percentage yet, and he's smiling like that.
And of course, he's got a new player to bring into the fold.
Oh, tomorrow.
Yeah, mid-season draft coming up. According to Cal Toomey and Riley Beveridge, there's 3 that we're looking at.
Is it according to need or according to talent?
Okay, well, let me ask you this. Positionally, who would you pick? Like, I mean, what are you looking for? We've got one spot.
Key. I don't care what comes after that.
Just key. We need a key player.
Key back, key forward, whatever you like.
Okay. Well, according to Gettable, Cal and Riley reckon we're looking at Jasper Scaife from West Perth. You interested in a West Perth product? That hasn't necessarily worked out well for us in recent times.
Okay.
Well,
What is he?
Okay, well, he's a forward. 197 centimetres from West Perth is Jasper Scaife. Then we're looking at Ilaro Smits from Eastern Rangers. He's also signed with Box Hill.
Ruck.
He's a ruck forward, yeah. 198 centimetres, next generation academy product, but he can be scooped out from under us at this stage. So, something to note. Remy McLean is the other one they had their eye on. Eastern Rangers, Box Hill once again. He's also a forward, 200 centimetres. So, I gather the male
Definitely
from
the
Hawthorn.
McLean.
Well, there you go.
Because, we've got that many Macs already.
What's another Mac?
Yeah.
200 centimetres is a big Mac. Anyway, the male seems to be from the guys who really have the inside goss. Cal and Riley, they seem to think we're definitely looking at a forward. I mean, all 3 players there, they've all got that forward acumen.
Doesn't augur well for your boy Mitch, but...
Well, I think Mitch has forced their hand.
Yeah.
If he's just not getting back in the side anytime soon. They still don't have a definitive time frame. They can feel as positively about it as they like, but they can't say when he's back.
He's in that bracket where it's the next 12 to 24 to 36 months where he will be peaking.
Yes, that's right.
And if he goes to another club...
I don't want to talk about it. Can we wrap this up?
Yeah.
It's only talking about my favourite player wearing different colours. I'd rather not.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Just get back on the park, Mitch, because they're having a lot of fun out there.
They are. I think you'd have a lot of fun with him. I think the team would instantly be better again with him out there. So,
Have you seen the run into finals? I mean,
oh my God. Well, we definitely need to wrap up because we have lost our minds.
we used the F word. Hey,
Oh my God.
first time this year we've mentioned finals. If you look at the form and the certain number of clubs that are only getting worse from here on, there's actually a few opportunities. I'm not saying we play finals, but
Yeah, I'm not going to venture for that either, funnily enough. Let's just see what happens with Adelaide, eh?
but if we finish in that region, they'll definitely be looking to pick up, because you've got to demonstrate two guys who are thinking, do I want to stay at this club?
Yeah.
Or, who was the bloke that didn't pick Hawthorn is now at St Kilda?
Oh, you mean Henry?
Yeah, now he's stuck at St Kilda because they look better just for a glint.
That's right, yeah.
And now here we are. Well, we've got to be a destination club, Nick, and we haven't been, and maybe this is what we have to do to get there.
Yeah, maybe our charge is right now. Who knows? Who knows? It all
Get
starts
the
with...
Rory Lobs out of it.
Don't even. It all starts with Adelaide at the MCG, Saturday, 1:45pm. We'll be there. We'll also be back next week to cover all the action, win, lose or draw, right here on the Hawk Talk podcast. We are a happy team at Hawthorn.